Hey, welcome back. Same job title, wildly different paycheck, depending on when you got hired. Today we're comparing AI engineer salaries in 2020, 2023, and 2026 side by side, and the gap is bigger than you'd think. Let's break down exactly what changed and why. In 2020, a senior AI engineer at a top-tier company pulled in around $200,000 total comp, pretty solid. In 2026, that same title at that same tier of company? Also around 200,000. Sounds stable, right? Except here's the thing nobody mentions in those compensation surveys. The 2020 version of that job and the 2026 version of that job have almost nothing in common. The skills that commanded premium pay 6 years ago now barely get you in the door, and the skills that get you $350 today didn't exist as a job requirement before 2023. So what actually happened to AI engineer compensation? Where did the money migrate? And more importantly, if you're in this field right now, which side of the arbitrage are you on? Let's trace the money. Let's establish our baseline. 2020 AI engineering was fundamentally a research-adjacent discipline. You needed deep fluency in PyTorch or TensorFlow, the ability to implement papers from scratch, strong linear algebra foundations, and ideally a graduate degree or equivalent self-taught depth. The role was genuinely scarce. Levels.fyi data from that period shows senior AI engineers at FANG companies averaging between 190 and 240 total comp, with staff-level roles pushing 300 to 350 at the high end. The median was skewed upward because demand dramatically outpaced supply. There were maybe 20,000 people globally who could credibly claim senior AI engineering skills, and companies were fighting over them. The premium wasn't just for what you could build, it was for the sheer statistical improbability that you existed at all. If you could train a custom transformer from scratch, tune hyperparameters without AutoML, and debug gradient flow issues, you were printing money. Then November 2022 happened. ChatGPT crossed 100 million users in 2 months, and every company on Earth suddenly needed AI capabilities yesterday. Here's where the compensation story gets weird. In 2023, levels.fyi data showed median senior AI engineer comp actually spiking. We're talking 220 to 270 at top companies, with some outlier packages hitting 400 at startups desperate for LLM expertise. But this number is misleading. What actually happened was a bifurcation. The engineers who could fine-tune foundation models, build RAG systems, implement RLHF pipelines, their comp exploded. But the engineers whose skills were primarily classical ML, traditional supervised learning, feature engineering, gradient-boosted trees, their relative value started cratering. Same job title, but suddenly you had two completely different compensation curves hiding under one label. The 2023 data also shows something else, a massive influx of new entrants. Boot camps pivoted overnight to prompt engineering courses. The supply curve started shifting, even as demand surged. Now we're in 2026, and the market has inverted in ways that would have seemed absurd 3 years ago. The agentic era changed everything. Today's premium isn't on training models, that's increasingly commoditized through API access. The premium is on orchestration, on building reliable multi-agent systems, on eval frameworks, on production reliability at scale. Here's the compensation reality from current levels.fyi patterns. Median senior AI engineer comp has actually compressed back to around 190 to 220 at established companies. But here's the catch. There's now a completely separate role emerging, often called AI systems engineer or agent infrastructure engineer, commanding 280 to 380 at the same companies. The Python plus PyTorch specialists from 2020? If they didn't evolve, they're now competing with a flood of capable engineers who learn the same stack through accelerated programs. Their 200K hasn't grown with inflation, meaning they've taken an effective pay cut. Meanwhile, the engineers who pivoted hard into evals, agent reliability, and distributed inference infrastructure, they're pulling staff-level comp at senior titles. Let's map the actual skill evolution because this is where the arbitrage becomes visible. In 2020, the core stack was PyTorch, custom model architecture, training infrastructure, CUDA optimization, and research paper implementation. Academic credentials mattered. In 2023, the stack shifted to fine-tuning APIs, RAG architecture, vector databases, prompt engineering at scale, and LLM evaluation frameworks. Speed of adaptation mattered more than depth. Now in 2026, the premium stack is agent orchestration frameworks, tool use reliability, multi-model routing, production eval pipelines, cost optimization at inference scale, and increasingly Formal verification for AI systems. The through line here is that each era devalued the previous era's moat. The 2020 engineer's ability to implement attention from scratch? Now it's table stakes, not a differentiator. The 2023 engineer's RAG expertise? Increasingly automated by better tooling. The sustainable premium has consistently gone to whoever masters the newest integration layer between AI capabilities and production reliability. Let's get specific on where compensation actually lives today. I'm pulling from aggregated levels.fyi patterns and verified blind posts. At Tier 1 companies, a generalist AI engineer, someone who can fine-tune models, build basic pipelines, integrate APIs, sits at 180 to 220 total comp at the senior level. That's essentially flat from 2020 in nominal terms, which means down 15 to 20% in real terms after inflation. An AI infrastructure specialist, someone who can optimize inference costs, build distributed training pipelines, manage model serving at scale, commands 240 to 300. And the new premium category, agent systems engineers who can architect reliable multi-agent workflows with proper observability and failure handling. They're hitting 280 to 380, sometimes 400 at well-funded startups. The same senior title now spans a $200,000 range depending entirely on which skill cluster you occupy. So, where does this leave someone trying to navigate this market? The arbitrage play isn't complicated, but it requires honest self-assessment. If you're sitting on 2020-era skills, classical ML, custom training loops, research implementation, you're competing in an increasingly crowded pool where the premium has evaporated. The path forward is aggressive res-killing toward production AI systems, eval frameworks, cost optimization, agent reliability. If you're a 2023-era engineer with strong LLM application skills, you're actually in decent shape, but the moat is narrowing fast. The defensible position is moving up the stack into systems thinking, understanding how to make AI applications reliable, observable, and cost-effective at scale. And if you're entering now, skip the fundamentals-first approach. The market doesn't reward depth in areas where APIs have abstracted the complexity. The market rewards the ability to ship reliable AI-powered products. The title hasn't changed. The job has changed completely. And the compensation follows the skills, not the title. Always has, always will.